Okay. And this training video is just for Waxman staff, so you can see how to use this little tracking dashboard we've built for you. So I'll give you kind of a quick tour through what's here and how these pieces work, and then happy to answer questions and follow-ups by phone if you want. So starting here on the dashboard, eventually when there are more things filled in, this will actually add up some averages and rates. We're going to talk mostly about how partners will submit content for you to consider, and then how you can merge together the content submitted by partners with your own stuff, so that you get a more complete picture of all the different sharing that's going on. So partners, we've set up this Google form. It's an easy one-stop way for them to submit all the kind of major pieces of content you think they're likely to do. We can add more options to this, but right now it'll accept incoming Facebook posts and Twitter posts, including paid or promoted posts and tweets, and also news links, blog posts, anything that's just sort of a straight URL for reporting. So if it is just a simple URL, they'll enter that option and then just paste the URL, like carewomendeserve.com or whatever the URL of their blog post or news link is. So that's the simplest. Those will come in, everything comes into this form responses tab. You can see they all come in with a timestamp, so you know when people have submitted, what they've submitted. And then quick way to find all of the news links after you know a partner has come in and submitted a bunch of them, or if, as the sheet fills up, would be to come in here and just filter for this particular answer in the column. You can do that in the filters tab. Uncheck everything except for news link, and that'll give you just these ones. And then you're just going to copy basically these, the timestamp and the link, and it'll go into this. And so eventually you'll just have a long list of news links and when they were submitted by various partners. You may want to come back. You may not need this tab just to keep track of submissions that are just a link. You may also want to come back later and do follow-up with partners about where they found the story, what work went into getting people to write about the project, things like that. Social media, there's a couple more options, so come back and show you that. So first of all, they'll indicate whether it's a Facebook post or a Twitter post. We're focusing on those two main channels for now. Again, we can expand this to include more tracking if you need it. There are some real short, like a minute or less, kind of videos here just to show people where to go find these numbers if they're not sure how to go locate their particular Facebook interactions or Twitter interactions. But basically all they need to do is put in a link to where the post is. So two examples here, one from my tweet, one from the Mighty Twitter account. We can replace those with ones from Care Women Deserves if you want, once the accounts are up and running. They put in the reach, which is the same basic number for either Facebook or Twitter, and then sum of engagement for a Facebook or a Twitter post. Those are slightly different animals. Generally for Twitter, you're more interested in the engagement because that's how many retweets you get, without which not many people will see the tweet. For Facebook, there's some value in having people post. It's mostly in the reach. So even if it doesn't get a lot of likes or shares, you still can get a very good reach on a post without a good engagement score necessarily. And then last but not least, a place to just put in, since we're asking partners to spend money promoting posts about the project, they can report back how much they've spent. Again, this would be per post or per tweet. So what you'll end up with in our form response. Turn this back on. So a standard Facebook post, again, comes in with a timestamp. You can filter for whether it's just Facebook posts or Twitter posts that you're interested in. You get a link to it, so you can always reference back, and then the reach and engagement of that. Same thing for Twitter. You get a link to the actual tweet, get the reach of that particular tweet, and then the engagement stats. And last but not least, for a paid or promoted post, you'll get what presumably will be a bigger reach and engagement number, because that's what folks will be paying to promote, and then the total amount spent. The idea of these is you would come in and copy these cells and paste them into the Engage tab. And it's pretty straightforwardly set up. You need to move over the columns for the tweet links and impressions. So again, suggest if you end up with a bunch of these at once, that you come through and do a filter for all the Facebook posts first, for example. So you just have those, and you can grab these couple of cells. Again, if you had more responses, you could grab a whole set of them. Come back to engage. And we don't need that particular cell. But everything else should add up pretty evenly. If we wanted to do it for tweets in particular, come back and change this. And again, just copy these couple of cells. Do them in batches if you want to. And then, like I said, you'll need to move over a couple of these. So goes here, and then this one had 0 engagement. So it's really just sort of formatting and lining things up. The benefit of doing it is once you get everything into the right columns and rows here by post, the effect will be that you'll see this starts to populate a little bit, and you get some totals and averages in there. Again, not much right now to calculate on because we don't have a lot of data filled in yet. Once you get a bunch of responses and the website is running, we'll come back and talk more about the traffic section in particular. This is all reporting that will come straight out of your Google Analytics account because we're just looking at the total traffic generated to the page. This list of news links will keep track of all their general discussion about the project. And here we're just looking at how many people are actually arriving at your site and your particular version of the project. So that is it. Again, can make lots of adjustments to this as you go. Just a couple of examples in there to get you started. And happy to follow up by phone if you have more questions or need additional changes.